this is 9.4 on page 542, number 2. Now 2a states graph each pair of functions in question 1 on the same grid. Now we're only going to do number 1a. And 1 states for each of the following pairs of functions, write the equation of y equals f divided by g to x. Now we already know number 1 gives us f of x equals 5, g of x equals 8, and then h of x, which is just going to be these two, is just going to be 5 over x. Nothing too complicated. And now, before I graph, I want to do the domains, and considering we're going to have to do that later anyway, so I'm just going to do it now. So we're going to do domain of f. F is all real numbers. Domain of g is all real numbers too. Now the reason why these are all real numbers is because nothing is restricting the x value. The y value has to stay the y value has to stay 5, but that's the only restriction for the y value. X value unrestricted. X value over here unrestricted. It can't be undefined in any way. Next we're going to take the domain of the new function we made, which was h. And now that is going to be x is all real numbers so long as x does not equal 0. Now the reason why this is restricted is because x is in the denominator. And when you have 0 in the denominator, the equation is just going to be undefined. So now we're just going to graph these. Since we already know that pretty much the domain of f is just straight 5. We're just going to grab 5, we're going to grab our ruler, and we're just going to go through 5. Now we're just going to mark it as f of x, and we're going to do the same for g. We're going to plot our points. Since y equals x in this equation, we're just going to make it 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4, and 5 to 5. Same thing with the negatives. Negative 1 to negative 1, negative 2, negative 2, negative 3 to negative 3, negative 4 to negative 4, and of course negative 5 to negative 5. Now we're just going to draw a straight line through that. And this is your g of x line. Now we're going to our h of x line, which is going to be 5 over x. So 5 over 1, we know that that is going to be 5. 5 over 2, that's going to be 2.5. 5 over 3 is a bit more tricky. It's around the 1.5 area. And of course 5 over 5 is just going to be 1. I just skipped 5 over 4 just because of how close the numbers are. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. 5 over negative 1 is going to be negative 5. 5 over negative 2 is going to be negative 2.5. 5 over negative 3 is going to be around 1.5. Well, negative 1.5. And of course, negative 5 over 5 is going to be negative 1. So now we're just going to draw a nice straight line. Let's see. And this is our h of x line. I just made a small mistake when drawing the line. I was supposed to draw it through this point, but it's no real problem. Okay, and that's the question.